So I love the commercials. I did. That's what the Super Bowl is all about. Can't get enough of the commercials, especially Colin Jost and Scarlett Johansson's commercial for Amazon. The golden couple going for the gold. Uh, that commercial was more tone deaf than Rudy Giuliani as the masked singer. With all the commercials Scarlett and Colin could agree to, they sign up to endorse Amazon. Wow. There was a time in this country when people would be ashamed of themselves for doing something like that. They should be. You should be ashamed of yourself being that wealthy and doing commercials for Amazon. This week, Amazon workers in Bessemer, Alabama, are voting once again whether to unionize after the National Labor Relations Board ordered a new election when it became apparent that Amazon violated the law in last year's election, which ended up rejecting the union. This is big stuff. This is labor stuff. Amazon is anti-labor. Which side are you on? Amazon or the 99%? 5,000 workers in Bessemer are voting again this month. They have to vote again because Amazon stole the election last year. But Colin Jost and Scarlett Johansson are doing commercials for Amazon. Which side are you on? The workers are fighting for dignity in Bessemer, but they're not the same workers who voted last year because Amazon's business model is to eat up workers, grind through them, and then hire brand new workers. That's the Amazon business model. Hire someone, pay them as little as possible, and then try to burn them out before they qualify for benefits and higher pay. So the 5,000 workers who are voting this year in Bessemer are not the same 5,000 workers who voted last year. They were chewed through by Amazon. Which side are you on? Are you on the side of Amazon or are you on the side of the workers? Colin Jost and Scarlett Johansson, they think it's cute to do a commercial for Amazon. They lent their name. The only thing we have is our name. And Colin Jost and Scarlett Johansson lent their name to Amazon. When we go into the great beyond, all we take with us is our name, not our money, our name. And Colin Jost and Scarlett Johansson lent their name to Jeff Bezos and Amazon. Which side are you on? Are you on the side of Amazon or are you on the side of America? Amazon, they've crunched the numbers and they've decided it's easier to replace workers than nurture them. They are a parody of capitalism, a parody that is just as sad as what Colin and Scarlett tried to pass off yesterday as comedy. The message from Amazon is you are all replaceable and you shall be replaced. First, we will replace you with other workers who are more desperate, who will work for less and demand even less. First, we'll replace you with other workers and then eventually machines. But there was Harvard's very own Colin Jost and his bride, Scarlett Johansson, making cute during a commercial for Amazon. And of course, they will be the first ones, the very first ones, to warn us about Trump or the end of democracy. They will be the first ones to express solidarity with all the good causes, so long as it doesn't cut into their bottom line. How much is enough? How much money does Scarlett Johansson and Colin, how much money do they need? How much is enough? Uh, I don't. I don't know their game. I don't know what their politics are. I suspect they play the Hollywood game of keeping politics to themselves, right? That's what a lot of rich celebrities like to do. They say, you know what? I keep my politics to myself. It's not my job to choose a side. But those days are over. When you do a commercial for Amazon, you picked a side. It's not dangerous to say, I'm voting for Biden. You could vote for Biden. That's not hard. You're not revealing anything about yourself. You tell us which side you're on. You picked your side when you did a commercial for Amazon. That's everything we need to know about you, Colin Jost and Scarlett Johansson. Which side are you on, boy? Which side are you on? You made it clear. You don't need the money. You don't need the money. You made it clear which side you're on. Scarlett Johansson and Colin Jost side with Amazon. That's it. That's all you need to know. The same way all you need to know is that OJ murdered his wife. All you need to know about Colin Jost and Scarlett Johansson is they lent their name to the single biggest union buster in American history, Amazon. The single biggest enemy of labor in American history, Amazon. Which side are you on? You don't need to tell us whether you're a Democrat or Republican. Doesn't mean anything. We know which side you're on. You sided with Amazon because life comes down to moments, the choices we make. Nobody held a gun to Colin Jost and Scarlett Johansson and forced them to do a commercial for Amazon. They chose to be on the side of Jeff Bezos. They are not on the side of labor, period, which means they are not on the side of the 99%. Now, look, there's nothing wrong with breathing rarefied air. This is America, and everyone has the right to earn a living, and everyone has the right to get filthy rich. I think once you get to $1 billion, you should probably have your kids rounded up and placed in a re-education camp. But I don't begrudge anybody making a quiet fortune. But to endorse Amazon, to slap the patina of a golden couple over an endorsement of Amazon, the message being, look at us, we're winners. We're Colin Jost and Scarlett Johansson. Look how wealthy we are. And not only are we wealthy, we are getting wealthier by endorsing a company that creates, among other things, poverty. Which side are you on? 46 million people right now are rent insecure. 46 million Americans live with the threat of eviction right now. 140 million Americans are living at or below the poverty line. And that is partly because of Jeff Bezos. That is partly because of Jeff Bezos. Which side are you on? Are you on the side of Jeff Bezos? Or are you on the side of the 140 million Americans living at or below the poverty line? Which side are you on? Colin Jost and Scarlett Johansson told the world on Super Bowl Sunday they are on the side of Amazon, because nothing screams solidarity with the American worker more than a rich celebrity couple hanging out in their Nancy Meyers set of a home, basking in their toys and furnishing. Watch that commercial. Rich white people surrounded by their stuff, We see them at dinner parties, their well-appointed walls and bookshelves. Look, they were flaunting their wealth. They were rubbing our noses in it on Super Bowl Sunday. They were siding with Amazon. There's nothing wrong with having things that are nice unless it's paid for by people who aren't nice, like Jeff Bezos. I'm told Colin Jost and Scarlett are some of the nicest people you'll ever want to meet. I don't think I want to meet them. I don't think I would want to know anybody who would lend their name to Jeff Bezos and Amazon when 140 million Americans are living at or below the poverty line. And Jeff Bezos is partly responsible for that because Jeff Bezos is evil. Jeff Bezos is evil. And it is the job of Colin Jost as a comedian, a comedy writer, to attack Jeff Bezos, not get into bed with him. There was a time in American culture when Scarlett Johansson and Colin Jost wouldn't even consider doing a commercial, let alone one for Amazon. Now, we know that Amazon is evil. And I wouldn't expect Scarlett and Colin to march on the picket lines in Bessemer or out in Staten Island where Amazon workers are trying to unionize. I don't expect Colin Jost to use his celebrity, his wealth, his Harvard, excuse me, got something stuck in my throat there, his Harvard education to deliver spirited testimony in Washington against the evils of monopolistic corporate greed. But I do expect him not to lend his name to Amazon, especially a comedian. People might say, well, maybe they gave the money to charity. There's good money, there's bad money. Whatever money they made, whatever money they gave to a charity, that's bad money. Better Jeff Bezos pay his fair share of taxes. Better Jeff Bezos not control Washington, D.C.'s tax code. Better Colin Jost and Scarlett Johansson pay their fair share of taxes than take money from Amazon and donate it to their favorite charity, if in fact that's what they're going to do. Because Amazon is evil. Now, Scarlett Johansson is interesting. Let me just state up front, more talented, smarter, more charismatic, obviously, than I could ever dream of. Both of them. Scarlett did commercials for SodaStream. That's an Israeli company with a factory in a settlement on the West Bank. Now, I believe Israel has a right to exist. I believe in a two-state solution. I support Israel. I do not support the settlements on the West Bank. It's a third rail better left untouched by American celebrities. The UN, the Red Cross, the International Court of Justice all told Scarlett Johansson that the SodaStream factory on the West Bank is against international law. She didn't care. She gave an interview saying there's no right side or wrong side on this issue. Really? Well, I guess people who don't know the difference between wrong and right will say things like, yeah, I'll lend my name to Amazon because it's complicated. They're gray areas. No, there actually aren't gray areas. There's good and there's bad. I'm a Zionist. I believe Israel has a right to exist. I don't think the West Bank should have settlers or factories. But it's a third rail that I choose not to talk about. So maybe Scarlett should just stay out of it. She has enough money. She didn't need to endorse SodaStream. She didn't need to go up against the UN, the Red Cross, the International Court of Justice, you have enough money and clout. Why bother with SodaStream, Scarlett? Why dip your toe into this Palestinian issue, especially since you live in America, unless you're pro-settlement, unless you're pro-Israeli settlers living on the West Bank, in which case you should probably say that because you've touched the third rail. You endorse SodaStream, which has a factory. It's an Israeli company that has a factory on the West Bank. There's no upside to siding with an Israeli company that makes its product on the West Bank. There's only downside. So why risk it? You're an actor. Why get involved unless you believe someone needs to speak up and take a stand in favor of Israeli factories on the West Bank? Unless you believe that. Maybe that's why you did the commercial for SodaStream. When she was criticized for doing ads for SodaStream, Scarlett Johansson said, "I don't apologize. I stand behind that decision," unquote. She went on to say, quote, "I was aware of that particular factory before I signed, and it still doesn't seem like a problem, at least not until someone comes up with a solution to the closing of that factory and leaving all those people destitute." So she's worried about the settlers on the West Bank who work at that factory ending up destitute. Well, it sounds like she took a stand by endorsing SodaStream. Personally, I believe the solution is quitting the West Bank, getting the settlers out of the West Bank. But it's, way beyond what an American citizen can think about. So I choose not to get involved. I think it would probably be wise not to endorse SodaStream. Scarlett's worried about leaving all those people destitute on the West Bank. By people, she means Israeli workers, I guess. I happen to believe that the Israeli settlements on the West Bank promote violence and war and leaves people destitute. That's why but I don't know. I don't live over there. I just wouldn't endorse SodaStream. I believe Israel has a right to exist, but I do not believe in the settlements. Given that it's complicated, maybe an actor shouldn't put their name on SodaStream. Maybe she should stick to commercials for Chanel. Maybe pass on SodaStream, unless you're trying to make a point about Israeli settlers. She can't blame stupidity. She's brilliant, more brilliant than I could ever be. So she has no problem with the settlements on the West Bank. Obviously, she sees nothing wrong with Jeff Bezos and Amazon. Which side are you on? The West Bank is probably complicated because I live in America. Amazon and Jeff Bezos is not. Jeff Bezos is evil. Jeff Bezos is evil. Everyone knows Jeff Bezos is evil. Which side are you on? If someone offered me a job on a show that was streaming on Amazon, I would take it. I wouldn't want to, but I need the money. If someone, however, asked me to write a commercial for Amazon, there isn't enough money to get me to do that. Scarlett and Colin don't need money. Why would they lend their name to Jeff Bezos? He's evil. He's evil. There's good and there is evil. Amazon is evil. Now, some might call Amazon a necessary evil, and I get that. Like I said, if I was offered a job on a show that was streaming on Amazon, I would take it. I wouldn't be thrilled about saying I'm working for Amazon, but that's when Amazon is a necessary evil. Some people must rely on Amazon. I don't shop on Amazon. We got rid of we were making money on this show doing that ad, I forgot what it's called, but I told people to shop on Amazon and we got a cut. And I met Christian Smalls and I said, I can't do business with Amazon. But it is a necessary evil if you're not in a position of power. But to be in a position of power and use your name to endorse Amazon, to take money you don't need, to get into bed with Jeff Bezos, pure, unadulterated evil. Colin Jost is from Staten Island. He and Pete Davidson just plunked down $250,000 to buy the Staten Island ferry. You know who's in Staten Island right now as we speak? Our friend Christian Smalls. He is the founder of the Amazon Labor Union, which is fighting to unionize several of the Amazon fulfillment centers out on Staten Island. He's doing a big fundraiser for the Amazon Labor Union this Friday night. He's fighting to lead the first Amazon union in American history. For more information, go to amazonlaborunion.org. Christian has been on this show, and he has been the victim of harassment. He was fired by Jeff Bezos. Bezos's lawyer tried to portray Christian Smalls as an idiot. I don't want to repeat what they called Christian Smalls. And so go to amazonlaborunion.org and support the workers in Staten Island at the Amazon Fulfillment Center trying to organize Amazon Labor Union. That's Christian Smalls, also from Staten Island. I don't think he went in on that $250,000 purchase of the Staten Island ferry. There was a Staten Island ferry that was being dry docked, and Colin thought he'd buy it because he's just a regular guy from Staten Island. He hasn't forgotten his roots. AmazonLaborUnion.org. If you work for Amazon, you're dealing with chronic stress, a loss of dignity where you are spied on. If you're working the fulfillment center floor, you're not allowed to carry a cell phone to call your family. Workers are underpaid, abused, and threatened. We know that. We all know Amazon is evil. And I understand why some people are forced to use Amazon. But to put your name on it, to endorse Amazon when you have that much money and fame and power, Scarlett Johansson and Colin Jost endorsing Amazon, how much money do you need? Which side are you on? I know Colin is a member of the Writers Guild, SAG-AFTRA. Which side are you on, boy? The Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, they have data showing that Amazon warehouse employees are twice as likely to suffer a severe injury than any worker at any other American warehouse. In other words, working conditions at Amazon warehouses are twice as dangerous as any other warehouse. Christian Smalls was fired from Amazon when COVID first broke out because he asked for PPE. He asked for tests, and he was considered a troublemaker, so they fired him. But Colin Jost and Scarlett have no problem doing commercials for Amazon. It's interesting. Scarlett Johansson took on Disney last year. She claimed she wasn't getting the millions of dollars owed to her from Black Widow. You go, girl. You go, girl. Solidarity. She was portrayed last year as a woman taking on the big, evil corporate demons, Disney. Good for you, Scarlett. It was portrayed as David versus Goliath. That's Scarlett getting the money she was promised by Disney. I think it was like anywhere between $20 to $50 million that she was owed. And she was putting it all on the line by taking on Disney, we were told, and they settled out of court and she got her money. She showed solidarity for all the overpaid actors in Hollywood. Solidarity with all the overpaid actors in Hollywood. No solidarity last year with people earning $15 an hour trying to make rent. When Scarlett and her lawyers took on Disney for that, $50 million she thought she was owed, they portrayed her as a Norma Jean standing up for the workers. I want the $50 million that's owed me. Meanwhile, there are Disney employees who must choose between medication and food. That's a fact. There are Disney employees who work the theme parks, dressing up as Mickey and Goofy, sleeping in their car, choosing between medication and food. Now, I don't know. Maybe Scarlett and Colin, maybe they bankrolled the documentary entitled The American Dream and Other Fairy Tales, directed by or produced by Abigail Disney, which exposes how Disney treats the workers at its theme parks, at the factories that build the toys. I don't think she did. Maybe she did. I don't think she did. But her lawsuit last year got a lot of attention before she settled. I saw a lot of press that she got. I didn't see any mention of how Disney's corporate greed affects the people working for Disney who are just getting by. Her lawyers couldn't wait to mention how many billions in profit Disney earns each year. They couldn't wait to mention what the executives got paid. They couldn't wait to point out that Scarlett Johansson made them all rich. But no mention of the people barely earning a livable wage at Disney who help make Scarlett rich. Staten Island. Colin Jost bought the Staten Island Ferry out in Staten Island right now. Christian Smalls, he's out every day marching in the cold, freezing weather, taking on Amazon, while Colin Jost buys the Staten Island Ferry because he hasn't forgotten where he came from. I'm still Jenny from the Bronx. Well, that's somebody else. He's just a guy from Staten Island. Meanwhile, Christian Smalls is actually out in Staten Island getting hassled by the cops. His union buddies getting hassled by the cops and arrested for lighting a fire in a trash can to keep their hands warm while they're taking on Jeff Bezos and Amazon, the company Colin Jost and Scarlett Johansson endorsed yesterday for the entire world to see. Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Are you on Christian Smalls' side or Jeff Bezos's? Which side are you on? Yesterday, Scarlett Johansson and Colin Jost made it very clear which side they're on. Support Christian Smalls by going to AmazonLaborUnion.org, AmazonLaborUnion.org. Which side are you on? I'm on Christian Smalls' side. I don't expect Scarlett Johansson to do a documentary about the plight of workers or make a movie about the plight of workers. I don't expect Saturday Night Live to have Christian Smalls guest host or attack Jeff Bezos. I don't expect either one of them to go out to Staten Island and march with Christian Smalls. But to lend your name to his oppressor, to lend your name to Amazon, the single biggest union buster in American history, which side are you on, Colin Jost? Which side are you on? Amazon is evil. And I know people in show business have to do business with Amazon. People sell programs. They have their reruns streamed on Amazon. I work for a show that is being streamed on Amazon. I think I get, some residuals occasionally. I promote books and videos on Amazon. I get that. But to do a commercial for Amazon, to do a commercial for Amazon. I know that Coca-Cola and Ford did business with Hitler, but they didn't do commercials for the German Tourist Board. They weren't proud of the fact that they were doing business with Hitler. But to do commercials for Amazon? Seriously, Colin? Amazon is a brutal monopoly that puts bookstores, record stores, Main Street out of business. It is a purveyor of surveillance capitalism. It invented surveillance capitalism. The commercial made fun of Alexa reading their minds like it's a joke. Amazon invented surveillance capitalism. It spies not just on its workers, but its customers and American citizens. Part of Jeff Bezos's business model is spying on Americans. You, in that commercial, trivialized the spying, the actual spying, the surveillance capitalism that is taking place because of Jeff Bezos. That Alexa you and your wife were playing with in the commercial, Alexa is used to partner with thousands of police departments to keep an eye on ordinary Americans. Amazon makes billions doing business with ICE. It flaunts the law, committing wage theft and bullying workers into not asking for overtime by threatening them with evidence to send them to prison. It illegally fights union organizers. According to Politico, Amazon is constantly calling the Justice Department and the FBI with files on its own employees. In other words, they're spying on their own employees, and the troublemakers they turn into the Justice Department and the FBI. Yes, Colin. Yes, Scarlett. Alexa is spying on you. I know you thought it was funny in that commercial, but Amazon is spying on us. Amazon is sending a message to union organizers in Amazon warehouses that you better be a compliant worker. Otherwise, we have stuff on you. We will turn you in. MIT Review, it's a magazine, reports that last year, the entire infrastructure of keeping tabs on undocumented Americans for ICE was maintained by Amazon. So it's really funny in that commercial that Colin and Scarlett did yesterday about Alexa reading their minds. It's supposed to be funny. It's making fun of the idea. It's poo-pooing the idea that Amazon is violating our privacy. Amazon is violating our privacy. They hold 62% of high-level authorizations in the government. Those are the high-level authorizations needed to handle data for law enforcement systems. In other words, any spying that goes on requires software and servers, and 62% of that spying goes to is implemented by Amazon. Amazon's cloud computing software is used by the NSA, the FBI, and Homeland Security to spy on ordinary Americans. The NSA gave a $10 billion contract to Amazon, and we can't see the contract. We have no idea what's in it. Why is the NSA doing business with Amazon? But that commercial was really funny. I mean, it's ridiculous to think that Alexa could be reading Colin and Scarlett's mind. All but 2 states, only Montana and Wyoming, all but 2 states have police departments participating in Amazon's Ring network. You know, that little surveillance camera that you put outside your door? Well, the Ring network lets law enforcement ask users for footage from their Ring security cameras to assist with investigations. This is according to the Financial Times. This is new. This is brand new stuff. And according to the Financial Times, there are 2,014 police departments in America that are gaining access to Amazon's Ring security video. This is Amazon. Amazon invented surveillance capitalism. Their servers run the software used by Homeland Security, by the NSA, the CIA, the FBI, to spy on us and round up undocumented Americans and ruin their lives. Besides selling books, Amazon is also a publisher of books. And I believe at one time in American history, that would be called horizontal integration. I think it's horizontal integration, and it's against the law, but nobody will enforce the antitrust laws. Amazon should not be allowed to sell books and publish. Amazon puts out roughly 10,000 books and audiobooks and is using its clout to take on American libraries. It will not allow American libraries to purchase any ebooks or audiobooks published by Amazon. Amazon is anti-library. In testimony to Congress, the American Library Association called Amazon the worst obstacles for libraries as we move into the 21st century. Would you give your name? Would you lend your name to Amazon? How much would they have to pay you to do a commercial for Amazon? Stephen Greenhouse, he's been on this show before. He's the great labor reporter. He had a piece in The Guardian last week about Amazon. I'll end on this. He writes, the average Amazon warehouse worker, quote, leaves within just 8 months. That's an unmistakable sign that Amazon's jobs are unpleasant, to put it kindly, and that many Amazon workers quickly realize they hate working there because of the stress, breakneck pace, constant monitoring, and minimal rest breaks. Stephen Greenhouse in The Guardian goes on to write, indeed, experts on the future of work often voice concern that Amazon's vaunted algorithms and technologies treat Amazon's warehouse workers like mindless, unfeeling robots, having them do the same thing hour after hour after hour, unquote. That's from Stephen Greenhouse in The Guardian. That's what Amazon is, and that's which side Colin Jost and Scarlett Johansson, that's the side they're on. They're on the side of Amazon, which doesn't allow workers to take pee breaks. Amazon workers get fined. The warehouses are so big, they're allowed a pee break, but it takes so long to walk from where you're stationed to the restroom and back, there isn't enough time to go to the bathroom, so they get fined. You all remember the Amazon drivers having to pee in Gatorade bottles because they weren't allowed to take breaks to go to the bathroom. Which side are you on, Colin and Scarlett? I'm not on the side of anybody who forces its employees to wear diapers. So we need a cultural revolution because there is right and there is wrong. Jeff Bezos is evil because unions are necessary and Amazon is not. Which side are you on? Are you on the side of the corporate oligarchs who don't care if we live or die? Or are you on the side of the working men and women here in America? Which side are you on? Colin Jost and Scarlett Johansson answered that question yesterday during the Super Bowl. They are on the side oppressing workers.